I love Portobello Radio. Probably the best radio station in Ledbroke Grove.
Yes, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, Portobello Radio, the radio show, coming live and direct from the Muse Gallery on Portobello Road.
Number 269, that is. Hey, 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 welcome aboard.
With me, Piers Thompson.
Indeed, the beautiful Piers Thompson, the most amazing Greg Weir here.
And now recovered from the lurgy, Isis is on her way.
Yeah, man.
If I'd been here last week, I would have said it's 50 years since The Harder They Come came out.
Way.
So let's have a tune.
Let's go for it. Yeah, man. Wow.
Yeah, Johnny Too Bad by Jimmy Cliff from the soundtrack of The Harder They Come, which came out 50 years ago.
Wow.
Now, it's almost Lent, one of your favourite times of the year, Gregsy.
Yeah, man.
Which means, for us Brits, it's Shrove Tuesday, but
it is.
Isis, what's going on
Isis
next?
in the house.
Well, for me, oh my God, I'm sounding really loud. I love to sound
It's because
loud.
you're shouting all the way from Trinidad.
Yeah.
So for us, it's Carnival, really.
Yeah.
And obviously, the Shrove Tuesday and the Ash Wednesday comes afterwards because of people go out and sin so much over Carnival that they've got to repent.
That's what it's all about. That's exactly what it's all about. I love it. Absolutely love it. Bro, absolutely brilliant. And I'm glad that you referred to it as Shrove Tuesday as well. So many people refer to it as Pancake Tuesday. And that's not the deal, baby. That's not the deal.
Though we have promised you a pancake recipe, so we'll Google it
Well, of
during
course.
the course of the show.
It depends how much you love pancakes. If pancakes are your raison d'etre, then maybe all about pancakes,
slightly
mate.
prefer
Maybe.
all about the pancakes.
I slightly prefer wild partying on the street, but call me old-fashioned.
Yeah, no,
I
likewise.
know you all do.
Amazing.
We have a fantastic carnival-themed show for you today.
Yes, it's a carnival special.
Pan Diva was just in a minute ago. She's coming back to tell us about her new soca show, which starts tomorrow. At 2 p.m.
Yeah, 2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Yeah, man.
On Portobello Radio.
Yeah.
We've done it. We've even done a line test. That's how pro we are now. We have
man.
already talked to Alexander the Great
over there in Trinidad.
Trinidad.
So is everything good? Is he coming out live now?
He's coming out beautiful.
We're going to be talking to him in 15 minutes' time. We have Smokey Joe is coming in to preview the road march, give us his tips as to which...
And I have a whole playlist of potential road march tunes, so I will be obviously playing a number of them today.
Diamond.
As and when. We've got 2 other guests, haven't we?
Yes, we've got Harmony Farrell, who's a sister from TNT. She's in TNT. She's involved in carnival arts, and she's going to have a chat with us as well.
Live
and direct.
Live from Trinidad.
Live and direct.
I love these Trini hookups, man. That's brilliant. Absolutely
why not?
brilliant.
And then we have the wonderful Atiba, who does the Visit TNT and the various other kind of, I suppose, platforms all around promoting Trinidad and Tobago, and he will be coming into the studio to have a chat with us as well. About why you should actually visit Trinidad and Tobago.
Why not?
Why Trinidad and Tobago is the destination.
And not just in February, but this is obviously peak time.
Yes. And I just want to send a big shout out to Maxwell. We all know Maxwell. He is one of our locals. He's a legend in the area. Another Trini, because...
haven't seen him in a while.
Yes, he's recovering and he's avoiding the cold. Joy and I have just been visiting him, and I want to Maxwell is a real wordsmith, and for me, the thing that really stood out, that made us laugh, he said, if you can say colloquial, you can say fuck.
Naughty.
So big shout out, lots of love to Maxwell.
He's a bit like that. He's a bit like that one. He's also a mean keyboard player as well.
Yeah, he's a musician. He's got a long history in the music industry, actually.
I'm all about decolloquialising, actually.
Defucking.
It's going to be a lot of bleeps in this show.
Yes. Not for the little kids. Not for the little kids.
Not for the little ones. Brilliant.
Anyway, if I'd been here last week, I wouldn't have played this tune, but as you know, Burt Bacharach died.
Oh, yes. We didn't remember him on our show last week, sadly.
I was going to play some Dusty, but I was watching the hip-hop thing on BBC last night. And
you see Piers, the hip-hop guy.
Yeah. They've been running it for the last few weeks. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, I wasn't... Anyway, I didn't realise that Dionne Warwick had been the person who came out and called out the West Coast rappers for all their misogynistic BITCH.
And HOs.
Yeah.
No HOs. In fact, actually, I'm part of a campaign now that I've just got involved with in the States, which is about getting radio stations across America to stop playing music that has the N-word in it, or has ho, or the B word of African American music, basically. So I'm looking at how that's going to now play into my other radio show, because it means, I generally don't play...
You're not going to have any tunes?
No, I generally don't. 99% of the tunes I play don't have the N-word in it for a start.
Yeah.
I'm really careful about that, but it means I'm going to have to remove all my playlists.
Not as careful as I am.
Yeah, I'm going to have to be really, really... I know I do play the odd tune, because obviously, come on, there's a 2-pack or a Wu-Tang, but, I'm going to have to think about it more carefully.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, Dionne Warwick, not only a fantastic singer, but an
activist.
A social
activist. Yeah, go on there.
And R.I.P. Bert.
If you see me walking down the street and I start to cry each time we meet, walk on by, walk on by. Make believe that you don't see the tears, just let me grieve in private, 'cause each time I see you I break down and cry. Walk on by. Stop. Walk on by.
Yeah, that of course is Dion Warwick. Now we're going to be talking to Alex over there in Trinidad, getting all the lowdown on what's going on. But I have one thing I'd like to alert you to, which is it's obviously quite secretive, this at the moment, but there's a screening of the film Adult Human Female, a documentary in defence of women's rights. And it's the first UK documentary feature to look at the clash between women's rights and trans ideology.
Oh.
It has, it features, amongst other people, Julie Bindell, who you'll probably know, used to work on behalf of sex workers and is a general women's rights worker now. It also includes Lucy Massoud. Lucy was a firefighter who, during and after Grenfell, retrained as a barrister and now works as a barrister. She was on the fire engine with us, both when we played at Carnival and also when I played. Well, we played down at Pride.
Yeah,
that
excellent.
Extraordinary
With the Fire Brigades Union. Yeah.
So how do we find out about this?
Well, it's at a local venue on Friday, March the 3rd. Doors open at 7 p.m. There's a screening plus Q&A with directors and cast. We have a QR code here. I have a good idea.
They don't translate well on radio.
Yeah, I know. It's block white.
But we have to be careful because the basically anytime people try to have a normal, rational discussion about this, people accuse people of being transphobic and they attack them, and then there's been violence perpetrated against women who stood up about this by trans women who are obviously have the physicality of a man. So it's not a fair thing when basically somebody with the strength of a man is beating up a woman. So these are the sorts of things that have happened.
Yeah.
So I can understand why they're keeping their
These are
issues,
all
but these are the things we need to talk about. So it's absolutely brilliant. I definitely want to see that one.
Yeah, and we're up for talking about it. If you want to know more, www.adulthumanfemale.info. It's March the 3rd, 7 p.m, local venue. It was dropped to me opposite Whitstable House, if that gives you a clue at what I think the venue is, anyway.
Interesting. All really, really interesting stuff. And great that this kind of stuff is reaching the level of debate, albeit in theatrical form.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Interestingly enough, there was a talk at Bay 20 the other day about defending trans rights. So what makes me proud about this neighbourhood is we are prepared to have serious conversations led by either side in this debate, rather than simply throwing mud at each other.
Amazing. Yes, absolutely. Well, that's what it's all about. That is what it's all about. We all grow together when we can chat about these kind of things. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Superb. Absolutely superb. So lots of excitement's coming up in the area.
I think we need to play a soca tune though, Piers.
We've got issues because of the whole getting Alex in. So I was just quickly going to play De La Soul because this record has been finally released after.
Oh, it's that one. Yeah.
Okay, go for it, and then we'll work that out afterwards.
Yeah. What am no?
I don't know. Have we got some
Oh
volume?
yeah, we have
I sit down and
some.
cry. You may want to ask me the reason why.
Oh, that sounds a little bit like...
All right. Sorry, that was we hadn't really prepared for that. We were so overconfident about our previous work.
It's brilliant. It's all
I am
fantastic.
hoping that on the other end of the line we have Alexander the Great right there in Trinidad.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Greetings!
we-
Artist, how you doing?
All right. Not so bad. In the warmth.
You eat a doubles this morning already?
Sorry?
You eat a doubles already this morning?
No, I didn't eat a doubles. I had something. I had some fruit. That's all, really.
Oh, that's
I haven't
boring,
eaten-
Alex.
So, Alex, you're over there in Trinidad. A lot of our listeners will know the Notting Hill Carnival. Not everyone has been lucky enough to go to Trinidad. What's it like? Are there any differences to our carnival?
It's warm.
Yes.
Even if it rains, it's warm.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the difference is probably that the whole island, or the whole islands, because there's two of them, goes to carnival, and it's sort of everywhere where it can be. But it's got its problems as well. I mean, I think I have to be honest. There are good things and bad things. I could tell you about some of them as we go along, but the party atmosphere is there. They're calling it the mother of all carnivals. I wouldn't call it that right now because there have been a few glitches, but the attempt, the desire was there to make a big comeback after 3 years of, shut out because of COVID.
I mean,
So the
for me,
good
sorry,
news is
before you carry on, Alex, I just wanted to add,
Go
I think one of the key things about the difference between Carnival back home and Carnival here is that at home, Carnival is part of our national identity and our heritage, and it's valued in that way much more than in the UK, where it's seen as a problem with a lot of, well, it used to be seen as loads of people of African and Caribbean heritage up and down on the streets. Now it's much more diverse, but it's often treated as a problem rather than a cultural entity.
Correct. I agree, yes. Here, the problems seem to be the people are on the side of Carnival, and it's when, let's say, officialdom gets in the way of it happening. For instance, I'll give you a bit of news. The government did promise 147 million. That's 147. That's like more like 14 million because you've got to divide it by 10 in dollars. To put on Carnival, and they've only supplied 83 million, so the people are missing out. One of the things that is not happening is the Soca Monarch competition. That's not going to happen this year. There's going to be Calypso, well, there has been, we've had Calypso Fiesta, or Kaiso Fiesta, last weekend at Skinner Park, which is down south in San Fernando, and 40 contestants took part. It was very enjoyable, and, a lot of good acts there, good music. But the soca, which I guess for the younger people is the main event rather than the Calypso, won't be happening. Not enough funding for it. Either, I'm not going to judge it, either the soca artists demanded too much or the government was too late getting it together. There are complaints in the papers that the NCC, that's the National Carnival Committee, they're saying they've had applications come in too late. Other people, particularly in other parts other than the capital, have said, but they put their funding in 6 months ago and it hasn't been, ratified or whatever it happens to be. I don't want to be controversial. I don't know what the backstory is, but it's not as efficient as it should be. There are glitches, but people still, people are still determined to party. They're still out there doing it. They're in the streets. They're jamming on. In fact, a little bit of fun for you. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Commissioner, who's a lady actually, Erla Harewood Christopher, has asked that scantily dressed ladies should not wind up on her officers.
No whining on the police.
He says, and they brought in 800 more security forces, probably some of the army, to assist in the carnival activities. So that means they're
What, to stop the whining?
More people want to get in on the action, no?
Exactly. But I find that quite amusing that the lady said, "Do not wind up on my officers." I mean, they're going to do it anyway. she's on a hiding to nothing there, but I just thought it was quite amusing. This morning was Canboulay. Canboulay, for those of you who don't know it, is how can you put it? It's a celebration of the protests in 1881. They had something called the Canboulay riots. Now, the background to that is that sugarcane was the main product, right? So sugar requires that when you harvest it, you have to burn the cane to get rid of all the insects and things, and the old leaves and the bits of twigs and whatever and so on.
And the big snake.
And the big snakes, all right. And the tradition was that if there was a fire on any of the plantations, all the other plantation workers would rush to assist in the putting out of the fire. Well, the Canboulay riots, they started the fires and then refused to put them out as a protest to Captain Baker, who was head of police, obviously an Englishman, and he banned the drums from carnival, saying they were the cause of all the trouble, blah, blah, blah. You have to go into more detail, which isn't time now, but to cut to the chase, the people rioted and made their point. And so the Canboulay riots are open carnival every year. It'd be early in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. They're on the streets and they reenact the Canboulay riots. It's I wasn't there this year, but I did do it last time I was there. I went to Canboulay, which was 3 years ago. It's just, opening, if you like,
opening the doors.
Opening the festivities, yes.
One of the things I love about the way Carnival is celebrated in Trinidad is that the history kind of resonates through so much of what goes on. What with Carnival coming out of the so-called emancipation, and the fact that the enslaved people were allowed for one day to mock their masters.
Yes.
And then this builds, and the French and the English and the local influences. It's an amazing story.
It certainly is. It really is. And although I say, the soca competition hasn't taken place, there've been a couple of competitions. I'd like to just report, because it's really important, the Junior Calypso, or the Junior Soca Monarchs has taken place. And Celine Charles, aged 11, a primary school pupil, is the winner of the junior. When I say junior, we talk about junior schools, with a song, an uplifting, groovy soca song called Endless Love, which is about her love for Trinidad and Tobago. And Sekel McIntosh, who's no relation to Heather McIntosh, who was a junior winner many years ago, he's got a song called Fly, in which he boasts of TNT's great cultural background. So again, the culture is being celebrated, and he is what we call him a Year 9 student from QRC, which I just want to know. QRC is Queen's Royal College, very famous.
The very, very best of schools for a boy in Port of Spain.
Very, 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 very high class school. Queen's Royal College, and he's twice before been a junior monarch. Now, why this is of interest to me is that in the good old, and we're going back to Notting Hill, in the good old days, I say the good old days, maybe 10, 15 years ago, when we had better funding than we now have. I hope there's Arts Council people listening.
Fun Carnival, Arts Council, Fun Carnival.
We used to bring the junior monarchs over as part of their win. So the Trinidad government used to work with us, and they would bring over their juniors, and many of them, Olatunji. Some of you will know Olatunji because he was the first soca artist to make it onto, I think, Britain's Got Talent some years ago. People like Karine Ashe. These are big stars now in the Caribbean, and they were juniors who came over to experience, first of all, to entertain us here at Notting Hill, and also be part of our Calypso tent. And there was a good, nurturing kind of link with the old country, if you like, or the home country. And that's gone because we haven't got the funding to bring people anymore now, which is rather sad if you think about it.
It is sad. So, tell us, have you seen any mass, Alex?
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've seen it sort of on the TV rather than out and about. Although when you go down to Independence, there's always mass going on. There will be. Tomorrow is Kiddies Carnival, which is always really fantastic.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is that Kiddies Carnival, they do the traditional things.
The stuff you like, Piers. The stuff that Piers loves, the baby doll and the drunken sailor and all of that stuff,
Yes, the traditional characters are reenacted, all the various wonderful, and they had real meaning. Nowadays, unfortunately, and I'm going to sound like an old fart here, there's a lot of bikini.
Kind of because you are.
Masks. You come out Yeah, probably because I am. But they come out in just, it's just like beach sort of outfits. And so the wonderful characters that used to be, that told us of the jab jab, which is, little devils. Jab jab is a corruption of the word diable, the French word for devil, and jab jab becomes, and they come out with little spears and things, often painted blue. There's also the what they used to call fancy sailor, which is dressed in sailor outfit. They were a very, very popular part of masquerade. As you said before, baby doll.
Red Indian.
Dame Lorraine. Dame Lorraine is often, it's a woman or a man, quite often a man, dressed as a woman with a huge bustle behind, representing a big backside, and they would complain to passers-by that they were they have a child by this person, you've got to pay your dues. It was a traditional kind of not stop and search. It was stop and hey you, you owe me. But it was a way of, again, taking the mickey out of the masters.
And kind of, it was a forerunner to the cry for child support.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very good. But
Baby,
you see that at Kiddies Carnival. You won't see as much of it now at Adult Carnival.
there is still traditional masks, isn't there? Because old friend of the show, Tracy Sankar Shamboulet, who plays Baby Doll every year.
Of course.
She has recreated a new Baby Doll this year to reflect her struggles in her personal life with
You're
violence.
absolutely right. Of course, there is traditional masks, and there are many people doing it, and it's wonderful. In fact, I used to go with my friend, what's his name, Ray Funk, who is a judge who lives in Alaska. Sadly couldn't make it over this year, but we'd always go to these things together. And the old mask is where all the characters appear. They would have that. And you could go along and see all the old things being reenacted. I'm talking about with adults now, and not forget the Mokojumbis, the stilt people.
But you must have Mokojumbis. I mean, every year we have them.
We have them in London.
Yeah, they're in London now. Yeah, they migrated.
Of course. And I went last week to the what do you call it? Not the medium bands, the semi-finals of the Pan, and they had lots of Mokojumbis about there. I got photos of them, sort of sitting on a fence, a high fence, relaxing with their long stilt legs and stuff. But yeah, of course, Mokojumbis there, and they will come out on Carnival Day, on Carnival Monday and Tuesday, and they will be spectacular on the streets. They always are. So there is that positive side of things, but it's a bit rough that there's no soca competition, because it is very much a part of it, and the funding's just not there. Also, I think I did a show last week at Central Bank Auditorium, which is a very, very swish, good auditorium on Independence Square. Seats about 350 people, beautiful staging, very good, everything's a proper job. And we had 60 people in the audience, seats about 350. Worst news is that Spectacular, which is one of the Calypso tents, very famous tent, big tent, one of the most, for years. David Rudder was part of it, lots of great acts. Spectacular sold 40 tickets for their opening night. They hold about 400 people.
Is that a cost of living crisis going on in Trinidad?
They didn't open. They did not have their opening night. They cancelled. That is horrendous.
Was that bad marketing, or was that everyone being broke?
I just think everyone either being broke or being scared to come out. Don't know yet. Don't know. But what's happening is the tents are now changing their strategies, and quite right. A tent will have a lot of performers, right? And they usually set up, they do every night in the same place, and they take a long time. They might be sort of a 5-hour gig, and it can be quite tiring for the audience. I mean, they've now, the more successful tents have taken to doing something which they should have done years ago. They're going out to the regions and taking their wares with them, because although Trinidad's not a very large place, if you've got to travel 20 miles somewhere, that's quite a big distance. They talk about San Fernando being Don Salt, down south. It's about 40 kilometres from Port of Spain, and that's considered quite a big distance. So instead of waiting for people to come into the main towns to experience it, the tents that have become, if you like, rejuvenated themselves or thought about new ways of doing it, are now going out to the regions and taking their tent to the people, which they should have been doing for years. really, and that's a good sign. Some attempts are still quite successful, but those are the ones that have adapted. And maybe it's a new era, and maybe it's more a case of taking your wares out and about with you, and to play people that otherwise wouldn't come into town and take it. Because there's plenty of venues and halls and things probably around the country, some of them empty for months at a time. So utilize that and take your tent out there and show what you've got and maybe rejuvenate it. I hope that's what's going to happen. I have no idea. I have no idea.
Sounds brilliant. Sounds brilliant, Alex. Thank you so much for reporting in down out there in Trinidad. You're in Port of Spain?
I'm in Port of Spain. You want a song?
Yeah, I was wondering whether you had your guitar with you.
You're staying. Where are you staying, Alex?
I'm staying at Christine's in Curep.
Curep, okay.
You know, my cousin I stay with. But I have to say, no, I don't want to upset you, Isis.
Be careful, artist.
No, listen, I mean, when Maracas Bay on Wednesday.
Oh, shush. I don't want to hear about that. That's what makes me depressed.
Yes. And it was, but mind you, what was funny about it was that we've been to breakfast. The last 2 times we went, it was empty, like 20 people on it. But we went on Wednesday. So we went on Wednesday, and loads of scaffolding and stuff on there. What's happening? I said, what? You know why? Yes, it have a fete on Thursday. The fete starts at 5 a.m. till midnight. So they were setting up for Thursday. That's yesterday's fete. And boy, there were a lot of people there. Not a place to go. All right, go. I think you'll get the gist of this song. I don't have to explain it. Some are proud to be selected, though they've never been elected. Looks like too rich to care. Ministers focusing on growth, not the price of a loaf. Perhaps they're too rich to care. People doing 16 hours a day for a lonely rate of pay. Others are too rich to care. While those who living on the street wrap newspapers round their feet, maybe they are too rich to care. All this long hesitation is affecting the nation. Some people's lives in ruin, wondering what government doing. What? Are you not getting me? Hang on, I haven't finished. I was hearing you talking. No, well, I heard you talking, so I thought something was wrong.
Oh.
Okay.
Alex.
Okay. Wondering what government doing. I'm talking about English government, right? Not Trinidad. You could call me superstitious, but it smells kind of fishy, like they're too rich to care. Spending several £100 for the shoes they walk around in, too rich to care. When they'd rather take a plane than an eco-friendly train, we think they're too rich to care. British Rail is going to hell, and the NHS as well. Perhaps he's too rich to care. Should we give him one more chance to take a more caring stance? Will our hopes could be justified, or will they still be offside? Are some people just too rich to care? You know who I'm talking about, but I won't say names.
Yeah, Alex, don't get us done. Don't get us done for libel. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic.
My pleasure. I hear that laugh you've got is wicked, Isis. I'm really.
Yeah, enjoy yourself.
Make sure you bring something nice back for me, Alex.
And remember,
like bacon shark. Oh, no, you don't eat shark. Do you?
Yeah, fantastic.
All right.
Thank you, mate.
Have a blessed one.
My pleasure.
Have a great carnival.
I will. I'm sure I will. Thank you. Bye
Cheers,
for
Alex.
now.
Thank you, Alex. Amazing.
Cheers.
Brilliant.
That is
Absolutely
Alexander
brilliant.
D. Great out there in Trinidad.
Live
Isn't
and
it?
direct from Port of Spain, the capital of the beautiful Twin Islands of
Man, we
Trinidad
got
and
Sister
Tobago.
Harmony from Port of Spain in about an hour.
Lovely. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I could almost feel the sunshine through that telephone call.
Oh, it wasn't
Brilliant.
enough. I
Absolutely
want
brilliant.
the sunshine.
Yeah, of course we all do. We
Somebody to
all
bring
do.
it back for me.
But how amazing
and
was
some
that? Yeah, there you go. Now you're chatting.
Well,
Lovely
who knows?
rum.
If I'm lucky enough to get a bottle of rum, I might bring some in and share.
Oh,
it
that
with
would
you.
be great. Yes, please. Yes, please. Marvellous. Absolutely marvellous.
So, as we said, we are going to have Smokey in to give us the lowdown on what's going on in the potential winners of the Road March coming up.
Yeah.
Monday and Tuesday out there.
So I'm going to try and play a few of the tracks that are considered for a possible road
in
march.
the frame.
In the frame,
is that
indeed.
what you say? In the frame, is that what you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely superb. So, yeah, we've got a real flavour going on in this show. I'm liking it. I'm really, really liking it. When are the doubles going to get delivered? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, please, calling out, emergency,
Yeah.
doubles wanted,
And
doubles wanted.
Yeah, you know that. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I have to say, big up to the Tabernacle. We were there last summer, and I think we happened to catch some kind of carnival preview night, and they were offering up fantastic little bags of
Oh, you
doubles.
were there at the same time. My daughter was there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Zakia turned up with a couple of doubles for me because she knows
Gorgeous.
how much I
Absolutely
gorge
gorgeous.
myself on those things.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
man.
What is a double for those out there
Okay,
who
a
don't
double is
know?
like, it's basically street food. It's obviously, okay, not obviously, though. It's based on, it's South Indian cuisine. As you know, unlike a lot of the other Caribbean, I've got my Jamaican sister sitting here. Our food is quite different because Jamaica's right at the top and we're right down the bottom. We're the southmost island in the Caribbean chain and we're closest to, we're right off the coast of Venezuela. And basically, we have a much larger South Indian population than most of the other, apart from Guyana, than most of the other Caribbean islands. So our food is very, very much based on Indian cuisine. So people, our national dish is roti, which is Indian. Of course, the way that we maybe mix our spices is slightly different. There's a slightly different flavor. If you ever want to try Trinidad curry, there's a brand called Chief. It might be slightly inappropriate. It has an indigenous, a Native American with a headpiece on it. It's called Chief. You can buy it in Shepherd's Bush Market and most other Caribbean places. And you can try cooking with that curry powder. And you will see that it tastes quite different to the curry powder that you'll get traditional Indian cuisine over here. So a doubles is basically chickpeas, which we call chana.
Yes.
Again,
As
we
they do
is an
in
Indian
the
name.
subcontinent.
yeah, so a lot of the words we use, like we say brinjal, and we, for
Bhaji? No.
yeah, brinjal for what do you call them? The okra.
Yeah.
And we say bodhi for beans. And a lot of the words that we use are actually Indian words incorporated, which many of the other islands don't have.
So come on, what is a
it's
double
curried,
then?
It's curried chickpeas. They make a bread, a small kind of
Dumpling?
round flat bread, like a flat bread. You cook up the curry. You put it into the bread, which is folded in half, i.e. doubled. And you put dressing on it. So it'll be, we call it shadow benny, which is coriander, a mixture of that. You might have a tamarind sauce, hot pepper sauce, and there's one that they make with cucumber, but as I don't eat cucumber, I never have that one. And they put it all in there and they wrap it up. You remember you've eaten at the Tabernacle, we've eaten it together, so they wrap it up in a paper and then you hold it, try not to drip it all over you and you eat it. It's absolutely fantastic.
Amazing.
And back home you used to pay like $3 for one, $4 for doubles, but obviously it's a much more expensive over
I'm
here.
salivating just hearing you
It's
describe
delicious.
it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
wicked.
that was
Absolutely
beautiful, that
wicked.
little description.
Yeah.
Anyway, on with the soca. What's the first one
So
up?
I'm going to play a track. These are all apparently, like you said, in the running to be Road March or whatever. So going to go with Come Home by Skinny Fabulous.
Oh, a big name.
I've been patient and I've been waiting. Call me stubborn, but I can get over it. You left and never say goodbye. Those tears I cried, no, I can get over it.
So don't you ever let me down again. Cause I'm depending on you, so you better come through this time. Please hear my cry, and if I ever let you down, my friend, it was a misunderstanding. So if I took you for granted, then I promise from today I go jump like I never jump, wave like I never wave, wine like I never wine before, just to show you I'm sorry, and I need you back in my life. Look at people by the truck, emotions running high, we end up in the sky. misunderstanding. So if I took you for granted, then I promise from today I go jump like I never jump, wave like I never wave, wine like I never wine before, just to show you I'm sorry, and I need you back in my life. You got people by the truck, emotions running high, we end up in the sky, tears running down we high. Can't you tell us we sorry, and we need you back in we life. And if I come back home, come to me, come home to me, come home to me. It's a no place like home. Come to me, come home to me, come home to me. First time I touch the stage, this make me feel away. I want to touch the stage.
Promise I won't cry. First time I touch the stage, this make me feel away. I want to touch the stage.
You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
Skinny Fabulous, Nyla Blackman. Boom! 'Cause I will never let you down again.
I'm sorry. Tell you I'm sorry. Ooh.
Yeah, of course, Nyla Blackman played here live in the summer at one of the events. I think, I'm not sure, was it in... Yeah, I think actually it was in Bay 57 in,
No.
what's his name's place?
In
Dermot's place.
Oh, in Dermot's.
I think
okay.
they had a carnival special. It was either there, or it was on Portobello Green, or it was down by the Teletubby.
Anyway, it
Park.
happened right here in the heart of
Yeah, so she's
London's
she's
trendy
she's
Ladbroke
walked
Grove
the
district.
streets of Ladbroke Grove. There's Rose.
Love
Big
it.
shout out to Rose.
Oh,
Yes,
brilliant!
as you
Everybody on the
as
street.
you probably know, ladies and
Everybody on the
gentlemen,
street.
we broadcast live from the front window
Yeah.
of the Muse Gallery
The Muse
at
Gallery.
269. We're
269,
opposite
Portobello Road.
Tavistock Plaza, where the Spanish restaurants are, just next to the old series.
Yeah.
And we're surrounded by the paintings of a gentleman called Christos Simaris. Was that?
Yeah, Simaris. Well done. Yeah, man.
He was here last week
He
when
was.
I was
Very
away.
interesting guy, actually.
Isn't it?
Very, very interesting guy.
And you
Interesting
can
interview.
check that podcast by going to mixcloud.com/Portobello Radio. It'll be in the last 10. And it was a great show. Well done, you guys. While I was away, I was sick, sitting in my sick bed.
Yeah, man.
Well,
no,
we're glad
absolutely.
that you recovered.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Do you know, it's
we
a
held
funny
the fort,
thing.
We kept it well. We kept it good.
Since COVID, because to be absolutely Ilaria, who also stepped
Lovely,
up,
our beautiful Ilaria
she
is
stepped
outside.
up
She
to
is
take
amazing.
over Isis's
Amazing.
chair as Isis took over mine.
Yeah.
One
was-
of
it
the
was-
funny things since COVID is actually by the afternoon I kind of felt well enough. I could have come down and butched it out, but we're so aware nowadays
spreading
of not
illnesses.
wanting to infect each other
Of course.
that it wasn't even an option. So anyway,
So,
I
well
did,
done you for behaving yourself and staying
Yeah,
indoors.
I did get to watch 4 seasons of Yellowstone on Paramount Plus, which I have to say
Yeah.
is cracking stuff. And
Ah.
quite interesting.
4 seasons of...
Yellowstone. It's got-
Oh, I've heard that somebody's told me this is really good.
Yeah, with Kevin Costner.
Yeah, apparently
Anyway.
he's actually like a standout role.
Yeah, he's a standout guy.
Okay.
Interesting how they keep on rewriting the history of the United States with all these different
Yeah.
mini dramas. Really weird.
Just to keep you up to date with local events, Powis Square consultation ends on Monday.
Lovely. What do they
They're-
want to do with our delicious Power Square?
Do you know what? I'm confused. As you know, Isis and I were part of the Pavilion Hive, which used to put up the Portobello Pavilion there.
Yeah.
This consultation seems to have been going on for about 300 years. It's God knows how much the council have spent on it. From my personal experience, it seems to have spread rancour and division more than anything else. But anyway, have your say. they've spent about £1 million on glossy brochures. So the least
I mean,
you
I think
can
the main problem seems to be the dog people versus the children people.
Right.
Really, I mean, a lot of it was because a lot of us feel that it's
Is there a third group that could be anti-dog and anti-children?
Maybe, yes. They just don't like anyone people.
Yeah,
I don't. Oh, the basket. We don't like basketball people. There was the ones that didn't like the basketball either.
My goodness.
It's
My
because
goodness.
obviously, it's not safe for dogs to be in a park that children use. Because if they defecate in that park, because obviously
if there were responsible dog owners.
But the problem is there aren't. That's the problem. You can't trust them.
Since lockdown, it's got worse.
And it's
so.
really bad.
Well,
so you can't have your children playing. I would never take my daughters into a place where there was going to be a dog when they were little. Because it's just unhygienic.
We should do a dog special where we just get a load of dog owners in and we interrogate them about whether they're behaving in a responsible manner.
They're all going to lie, of course.
I mean, if they were responsible, it wouldn't be a problem. But the problem is not everyone's
Do you know,
responsible.
before lockdown, there were 9 million dogs in the UK, and there are now 13 million dogs in the UK.
Saying,
no wonder they're all turning on these dog walkers.
Yeah.
I would.
Interestingly enough, our little piece of what looks like public land out the back of the All Saints Church that Clydesdale blocks of flats and Powys blocks of flats back onto, we have just been informed by our housing association that we're now paying the maintenance for that, and it's gone up lots and lots and lots and lots. Now, a majority of the maintenance is clearing up after doggy people. Right. So there is certainly a whisper in the neighbourhood about possibly stopping doggy people from using that particular public area because, it's not really fair. They come along and let their dogs poo there and then we've got to pay to have it cleaned up. It's like mad.
Right.
Well, my position is simply this, okay? You have a dog, you're responsible for everything. You have to feed it, you have to make sure it's healthy and whatever, looked after. Clean up its mess as well. Have a dog toilet in your house and manage that because I shouldn't have to walk on the street.
Have a dog toilet in your house?
Well, I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, if I'm walking in the street, why should I have to step in dog mess?
You are radicals.
Well, do you know what? Coming back to Trinidad, because we're focusing on Trinidad, I have never seen dog mess on the pavement in Trinidad, ever.
You go.
In all the time. And we have plenty stray dogs running around as well. Somehow we manage it. The same in West Africa.
Anyway,
so I don't know what's going wrong.
To those of you listening out there in Trinidad, if you could look out your window while the next song is on and see if you can see any dog mess.
Yeah, if you can find some, you get a prize. You get a Portobello Radio T-shirt. Take a photograph and send it to us.
In fact, why don't you post a little a poo in a bag to Portobello Radio?
Now you're going too far. Now you're just taking it too far.
I quite like the idea of that. Poo in a bag.
Okay,
in the post,
I think it's time to put on another track. It's time to put on another track.
Can I say one more thing though? The other thing I was going to do last week is look through North Kent News, the fabulous and waste of money from the council telling us what's going on in the neighbourhood. It's got a boxer on the front, and that reminded me that tonight at York Hall, David Adelaya, who is a local lad from Dale Youth, is up there defending his unbeaten record against someone who looks quite... he's Ukrainian, actually. He's called Bezus.
Oh, yeah.
So, big up, David. I know a lot of my daughter's mates are going to York Hall tonight to see that. So
amazing, okay.
Smash his face in.
Right, are we finished now?
Yeah, what's number 2 on your list?
Okay, well, I'm going to
Road March contenders.
I mean, I've just pulled up a load of tracks that are Road March contenders potentially, but this one I particularly like. This is Olatunji, so this is Engine Room or Engine Room.
When you wear the rhythm and the iron and the man where the Congo drum. There's a vibes in the session when we jam into the steel bun. Come on, join the line, grab your bottle and spoon. It's a party in the engine room. In the engine room we go jam it steady. In the engine room we go get on wassy. In the meantime, why don't you join the line, grab your bottle and spoon. And come let we party in the engine room. Ooh, yeah. Well, how else we will survive if we don't create the vibes? This is a big part of the life, so soca must live and never die. In this party atmosphere, so sweet that I can't describe. So all the artists, you must be here, cause without an engine, can't dance, so we cannot dive. No oxygen tank, we got dipsy dive, so we got to come together and try to find a way, find a way. No more fight down, we got a unity. Sharp vibes.
Yes, Olatunji Engine Room, and that actually slightly sounds like a kind of old school kind
Yeah.
of tune. It's not very like your current soca thing, but I really like that one.
No,
maybe
I
it doesn't stand a chance as a
I like
as a
that.
road
Maybe
march.
it'll win. Maybe it's a retro year. Our next guest may be able to tell us. We got Atiba in the studio. Hi, Atiba.
Good day, good afternoon, good morning, grand risings. to
Wherever
everybody.
you're listening, all
Yeah,
around the world.
Empire.
You are coming to talk about something called Rejuvenation Carnival 2023.
Yes.
What's that about?
So firstly, carnival music,
Right.
food, energy. It's a timeless rejuvenation, enthusiasm, sweet vibrations. Make sure you stay hydrated. Reconnection of families. Flags high in the air. From country to country, state to state. Carnival makes the whole world shake.
Brap, 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 brap.
Yeah, we
A
can't
bit of
disagree
poetry
with
there
that.
too.
But you are here, stuck in London.
I'm I'm everywhere. My energy as I'm talking to you, I'm currently everywhere. I'm not just here. I'm literally everywhere. My energy.
Yeah, we need to learn how to transcend time and place, don't
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm working on that one. I'll tell you all about it next
What,
time.
like your beloved Star Trek?
we? All of that.
Yes.
All of that.
Oh yes.
Carnival. We had Alex on the phone. Carnival in Trinidad is obviously it's been 3 years off the road. They're back this year. Alex was saying that there's a bit of a money issue going on in Trinidad, but the people seem to be bang up for Carnival.
Well, what's it called? Me personally, being a born Trinbagonian and stuff, and somebody who's built several brands and several networks while I've been over here in the UK. All of my networks that I've built, what's it called? If you do the spider web, a lot of them have come off the back of Carnival. So one thing I know about people of Trinidad and Tobago descent is that we love Carnival. And even myself, not even certain times, even having to be on the island, etc. What's it called? Again, the way that I've connected Trinbagonians over here and stuff like that, what's it called? That's Carnival in itself, man. And even now I'm sitting in front of you with a paper saying Carnival 2023 Rejuvenation. So it's an energy for me.
So this transcends the money.
Yeah, it's beyond just money. Carnival for me, it's about the people, it's about the networking, it's about the vibes, it's about getting, you might have a little drink or something sometimes. It's about, flowing on the road, man. Enjoying the costumes and stuff like that.
Yeah, in Trinidad, a lot of people actually get to watch. It's a bit like Glastonbury over here. Some people end up watching a lot of it on the telly, don't they? Because it's televised. The mass, the calypso, the soca, are all televised.
Well, I think it's more like you go out and you do your things, and in between, while you're getting ready to go somewhere else, you watch what's going on the TV. So you might go out and do Juve, and you come home and you eat and you chill and relax, maybe have a rest, sleep, watch a bit of stuff on TV and get ready to go to the next thing. Rather than, unless somebody obviously is maybe disabled or an elderly person who can't, who's not mobile, I think most people watch what's going on when in between actually doing. That's my experience. I don't know, Azibo, what you're thinking.
Again, with me and Carnival, I've always seen Carnival, myself personally, from looked at it from a, not just even just I'm down for the dancing, I'm down for whatever, but I'm always like, what are we doing after this? How are we creating from this? What's the creation? There's so much energy that's coming out of the Carnival. There's so much energy that's coming out of Carnival and stuff like that. All of this beautiful energy and stuff like that. But then more time, what happens or what tends to happen after Carnival is a lot of people, predominantly from the Afro-Caribbean community and stuff like that, their energy and their spirit just sort of just like they get that high and then they come right back down again. So what I'm about is how are we building off the back of that. So again, I use things like Carnival Rejuvenation. I've built networks like Caribbean Global Destinations, which is about traveling around the globe and stuff like that. And I mix both of those energies together to not just, just allow the energy to just go up, but to allow the energy to go up and to transcend into something else. So when Isis, for example, told me about coming here today, I was like, sure, why not?
Well, thank you for coming. So, talking of energy, a lot of the energy at Carnival is about the Road March. Have you listened to some of the Road March songs this year, or are you going to wait until next week to find out?
I've listened to obviously a few of them. The ones that there's two that have. The one that seems like everybody is really vibing for is the Bungie Garlin one. Off the top of my head,
I forgot what it's called, but
I've probably got it right here somewhere. It's not the ATSA, is it?
no.
Hard Fat.
Hard
Yeah,
Fat.
Hard
yeah,
Fat.
Hard
That's the
Fat.
one. Hard Fat.
And there's a next tune as well, which again, it seemed like a lot of people were really vibing for as well.
Actually, Hard Fat is nice. I'm going to play that next.
And but yeah, these again, personally for me, let me tell you on a personal level for me, I'm just literally about gravitating all of that energy and turning it into something which allows us to have planes, boats, and things of that type of nature. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not just thinking about Carnival. Like, like that's great and all that. It's beautiful to jump up, and I've done it many times in a few years, and I've gone back to Trinidad when I was young, whatnot, etc. But how are we fully gaining from that? Okay, so we jump up for 2 days, not 2 days, but obviously over the time, and then most of my family or people from my family or people that are even related to me, etc., they go back to, like, when I've gone back to Trinidad, I remember one time I went back to Trinidad, I was in Port of Spain, and my cousin them were just there. Like, it was the same as, like, just being a young black guy here, sort of thing, with certain things. So I'm not just going to allow that Carnival energy to just die. That's my type of mission, and that's what I'm on, i.e. Carnival rejuvenation, which obviously represents restoring, reviving, rebirthing, and all of this type of stuff. So that's what I'm about.
Love it.
Nice.
I absolutely love it. You recognise the energy, man. You recognise the energy on so many levels. That's beautiful.
yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
All right.
Shall we play Hard Fat?
Hard Fat, yeah, this is Bungie Garlin. Currently the favourite.
Entry of the century. Braga. Yo, I'm not going no small fret. Let me extend my apologies on a big fet with big flag going overhead like canopy. Rag in me back pocket with a white vest, sneakers and wallabies. Knife tips and tight pants, I never really rate none of these. I come from brass festival and from customs and from flour mills. Was a fed fire fet and licensing fet and them had a power pill. Everybody gone nice and groovy Bungie, all you pushing power still. If it's me alone, leave me with power on a hill. I ain't come here for no stand up. I come to party with my hand up. So all soca people, put your 2-1 in the air. Your 2-1 in the air. Your 2-1 in the air. I never come here for no stand up. I come to party with my hand up. All soca people, put your 2-1 in the air. Your 2-1 in the air. All soca lovers do this. Show me your hand. 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 All I know is bass, feathers rough like sea. Going out all night, no go home before 3. When one fet done, we start a soca spray. So we go with way. You know, ask why we no question mark, we take why with apostrophes. Get gal with more lyrical content than Socrates. She could have shaped like a triangle with a cosine of isosceles. Any other thing different, well, that is blasphemy. I ain't come here for no stand up. I come to party with my hand up. So all soca people, put your 2-1 in the air. Your 2-1 in the air. Your 2-1 in the air. All soca lovers do this. Show me your hand. 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 people, put your two hand in the air. Your two hand in the air. All soca lovers do this. Show me your hand. 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 Show me your I not going no small fed. Let me extend my apologies. On the big fed with big flag going overhead like canopy. Rag in my back pocket with my vest, sneakers and wallabies. Night tips with tight pants. I never really read none of these. I come from Brass Festival and from Customs and from Flour Mills. What's a fed, fire fed and licensing fed and them had a power pill. Everybody got nice and groovy bungee, all they pushing power still. If it's me, I don't leave me with power on a hill. Run.
Bun.
Done. I'm so done. I got no volume. I'm done.
Bunch Garlin, Hard Fat, the favourite for the Road March, has been for a couple of months now. I quite like following if you get onto the Trinidad papers, every day there's like, who's going to win it, and they give you the percentage chance of who's going to win it. I love all
But
that.
that's what exactly the point that Alex was making, and that's a point that I'm making, that the difference with Carnival over there is really a part of our national identity. It's like, I don't know, I'm trying to think what's a big thing. It's like the way you guys are into, maybe not football, but trying to think of something that corresponds in the UK.
It's interesting you say that, because one of we have it a little bit over here during Notting Hill, but everything is quite structured for something that came out of, one day a year where the enslaved people were allowed to mock their masters. It's become... I love the organisation. It's, the way that all these things, Road March, Soca Monic, Calypso King, they all have structures and the mass, and there's voting, and it's like, it's a bit like, it's kind of something, it's a bit like Strictly, isn't it? Where, you go in there and you get 9.8 for your
it is a phenomenon.
Baby doll, and you get 6.7 for your...
But also, it's the underlying thing is that, obviously there's a history in the Caribbean, but, millennia before, our ancestors were kidnapped and trafficked to the Caribbean. They were doing these carnival, these fetes, these things under different names across the continent. So those Africans who then came and built this, the idea of, once emancipation so-called came and people were free now, it became a really intrinsic part of society, because the people had it in them anyway, and they wanted more. Hence, it's not just one day now. It's like literally after Christmas, it's the whole thing. Or Babylon Xmas, as I prefer to call it.
Well, of course, it's the whole thing. In the old days, it was a Babylon Xmas, because Christmas existed way before Jesus Christ. Christmas existed because, we northern types, around about that time of year, we'd literally had enough, and we had to have some kind of party. And that's what it's all about. All these things are either at the end of the harvest, or the beginning of this, or the dead of winter, or this. There's a reason for all this stuff. And the point being that although each of these different traditions represents a different diverse background, we're all the same. We all want to kick off for 2 or 3 days.
And some of us for longer, because I don't know if you realise, it's on Atiba's platform, I noticed he put up there's a chart with all the holidays in Trinidad and Tobago, and I don't know if everybody's aware, I've probably said it before, we actually have the most holidays of any country in the world. You can check that one out. That's a good selling point.
Is that on the website?
Atiba,
Isis is very keen for me to ask you, Trinidad, is it just 10 days in February? Is that... Trinidad is worth it all year round, right?
So 110%, man. It's one of the brands that I actually created is named Destination Trinidad Tobago. Mm-hmm. So that came off the back of me creating it as a network. Originally, over the years, I've created several networks, predominantly from within the Afro-Caribbean community. Again, a lot of it has come from off the back of Carnival. Hence Carnival Rejuvenation now. 5 years ago, 5+ years ago, I met the High Commissioner at the time, who was named Orville London. When I met him, a guy from one of my other networks, he said to me, Atiba, because of the way that you're able to sort of bring networks together and stuff, he said, create a group, a network, only for people from Trinidad and Tobago. He said, don't add no one else in there. Don't even add myself in there. He said, I guarantee you in the next few years, you're going to be a very wealthy man. And he said, when you have your big house back in Trinidad, he said, invite me over to DJ. I said, no problem. And so from there, what's it called? So from there, since that time, I've created that network, and a lot of things have happened within the actual Trinidad and Tobago community off the back of that group there.
So tell me this: if I was coming to TNT, I've never been. I'm ashamed to say. If I was coming to TNT, what would you say are the 3 things I should definitely do?
Go to Maracas Beach. That's
Oh,
one.
number one. Number one is Maracas.
And what's that? Is that near Port of Spain? Is that outside? Where's that?
Yeah, it's does it count as Port of Spain? Yeah, it's Port of Spain, yeah.
Right.
Up
So
in the
I
hills, basically. I mean, it's a really beautiful
How can a
beach.
beach be in the hills?
Because you go up in the hills and then you come down
Oh,
to the
back
beach.
down again.
One
Yeah.
next thing you definitely need to do, and I remember when I was younger and I went back to Trinidad and I couldn't stop it, is go to the doubles, man. Yeah, and what's it called? And you see, if you go to the doubles guy, especially if he's like a proper guy that's bloody selling some good doubles there and stuff, mate, you're just gonna stand there and just keep giving your change, bro. You get me, sort of thing. Like you're not gonna move, you're not gonna stop. You're just gonna keep on giving your change and keep on eating the doubles.
Right. And what about the Savannah? Because, of course, Kez won with Savannah Gross 2-3 years ago.
I mean, the
what-
Savannah is just a big park in the middle of Port of Spain.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, you walk around it, people jog across it, they have events on it, they have fairs on it, you know, you can go, they have stalls on it. Smokey, gonna say something?
Hey, we
Legendary
got Smokey
here.
Joe in the house.
Well, it's regarded the Savannah as the world's biggest roundabout. Yeah, that's where you have the panorama competitions, the March Gras competition. It becomes a hive of activity.
Yeah,
around Carnival
roundabout
time.
now.
It's just like Belmont from Savannah. You can go up to Belmont. You can go up to St. Anne's. You can go up into Marval. Or head down to St. James. It's so massive you could just...
Right. It's the centre of the world.
Yeah.
So,
But Smokey, for that same question before you, I know we're going to come and talk about Road March. What are the 3 things you would recommend? Different generation would be interesting to hear.
Well, it depends on what you're into. If you're into eco-tourism, right, I would suggest you go to the Caroni Swamp because it's got some of the best wildlife and everything like that. Maracas is definitely a place if you're a beach person, although if you're going to the Caribbean, I mean, Trinidad we're more for eco. Tobago is more the beach place. But you got Maracas or you got Mayaro side, right? And of course, well, the food. I don't think if you build a house in Trinidad, you don't need a kitchen. Trust me.
Yeah.
You know, you have doubles, a roti. My grandmother, I think, was one of the first people to have a roti shop in Trinidad back in the 1940s, 50s. So, and I grew up, actually, remember, as a 5-year-old boy, 1955, sitting on Coffee Street Juve morning while she was selling rotis, you know, on
That is
Carnival Sunday night.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And just talking about the old days on Trinidad Carnival, you can actually go onto YouTube and find footage of some of the carnivals going back certainly as far as the 1920s. It's amazing stuff. I can't remember what the name of the band leader, the very famous band leader. I'll Google it during the next song. But anyway.
There's George Bailey.
Yeah,
who
that's what I'm thinking of.
His teams was very African based in his carnival designs. George Bailey. Then you had other people who did, like Wayne Barkley is another one, good friend of mine. He designed all the costumes of Coquier over here. And you have, the different traditional type of masks, and then you have people who make what we call the pretty masks. Although watching the Kiddies Carnival recently, I think the designers who are doing the kids' costumes are putting some of these modern adult things to shame, because
really,
it's
funny. Alexander was. Do you mean this year? Alexander was just mentioning that.
Well, the
he
thing
said
is
that the children's mask was amazing.
No, yeah. I mean, my band, which my designs are done by a guy called Big Mike of Legacy in Trinidad. So I work very closely with Big Mike, But, it's like, I think you have a situation where if you have a young girl, she doesn't want to go traditional, she wants to display body, etc. But as they get older, what I found out with running a band is that as they get older, they're smoky, I can't do the bikini thing anymore, right? I need to have to cover up a bit more. So But the main thing is to get in people into the culture of playing mass. I think is very, very important. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I know you'll probably be playing at the Tabernacle later. What mass always reminds me of a little bit, is Panto in the UK, because you have these characters who've been developed for hundreds of years, and everything like Baby Doll, you can play it in to mock this person or to mock that person in the same way the Ugly Sisters can mock that person. I've always wanted to do a mass Panto down at the Tabernacle because the characters are amazing.
Well, I think you have to remember how Carnival evolved. It came out of slavery, so when the slaves were mocking the masses, because basically Carnival is a Christian thing from Europe, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And that's why it's before Ash Wednesday, right? But then when it came out, it took on it's an expression of freedom, and so it developed in that way.
Yeah.
So. And it went from strength to strength, you know. And as Trinidad, now we have carnivals all over the world, you know. Carnival is probably one of the fastest growing industries in the world, believe it or not.
Yeah, and quite right too. We're about to play the next tune. TB, you can stick with us. Smokey's here to run us through the road march. So have you two been conferring now? No, do you know? Does Smokey know what you're about to play?
No, I have no idea what's going on.
What are you going to play? Isis has already played a couple of the contenders. She's played Hard Fat.
I've actually bought a stick with some remixes. So we just got some road mixes of stuff here. But
why don't you play a tune and we'll get up?
Yeah, I'll do one quick one, which is Shake the Place.
That's Destro and Marshall.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
Yeah, that's running like fourth in the Roadmart Stakes right now.
Right.
If it was up there.
Feel it in the air from the time I wake. Spirits come alive when we celebrate. What we bring to life to happen every day. Is a kind of high that they can replicate. This stage is we own.
Wow, what a tune. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Thank you, Isis. Looking forward to more of that. Looking forward to more from a beautiful Smokey Joe.
Hi, Smokey. Smokey, tell the folks back home, what is Road March? Because it's a really important part of Carnival,
Well,
isn't it?
yeah, it's the biggest, most popular tune for the masqueraders when they cross the stage. Basically, the tunes that the masqueraders want to cross the stage with. It's usually some bands. It's a choice of the DJs. That's why it depends. Some tunes people get wary of it and they don't want to hear it when they're crossing the stage. Some tunes are not designed. Like, for instance, in my opinion, my humble opinion, as much as Bungie is my good friend, that Hard Fet is very much a party tune. But crossing the stage, you need a pumping tune moving. So my tip for it, although she's running third.
But you don't think you could jump up across the stage with Hard Fit? I feel it's a very jump-up tune, though.
It's a jump-up tune, but it's a party tune. It's not a crossing the stage tune. In my book, although that's why they do the road mixes.
Because it's two different things, isn't it? I mean, one, crossing the stage is much more about parading the costume.
Yeah.
And one is about getting down on the streets.
Tune that gives it a hype. But the thing is, that's why they do a road mix.
Right.
Because coming up to it, Bungie, everybody, I happen to know, I was hoping to get it, that they're trying to rush a road mix of Nyla and Skinny Fabulous at the moment.
Right.
But I think they've left it a bit, they're cutting it a bit fine anyway, but people, they're coming home.
So how's all that work? Because I know that the Bungie Garland came out like 2 months ago. So it's kind of all about timing. It's a bit like getting an Oscars movie. You have to time it so that people are familiar enough, but they're not bored with it.
Well, one of the problems you have with Carnival is you have such a concentration of songs released at the same time, like maybe 2,000 or 3,000 songs. My files that I've got in for 2023 already is hitting 2,000 songs, right? And this is just out of Trinidad. Right, but you'll find over a period the cream rises to the top, as it were. Tunes evolve, who gets played, and all this sort of stuff. A lot of very good smaller tunes get lost by the wayside, which is a shame. But they tend to after Carnival, because Carnival's going around the world. You'll get tunes creeping out.
But Smokey, how does that work then? Because, for example, all the Road March, all the tracks that are up contenders for the Road March, we're going to hear them over and over and over on TNT, and then every carnival across the Caribbean is going to pick up these tunes, and then come August bank holiday, we're here. Like, if you think about Savannah Grass, I heard that song every single day for how many months was it? And obviously every day in the Tabernacle, the Mangroves rehearsing it. So this idea about something being overplayed, is that possible?
Well, it is, and I think what happens is, remember back in the day, right? Everything was from Trinidad filtered down on islands. But now every island has got their own carnival. So as soon as Trinidad's finished, you've got Grenada, which is more jab. You got Antigua, you got St. Lucia, you got Barbados, crop over. So everybody's producing their own tune. So really, it's not that stale. So even you come to Notting Hill, right, which makes us very unique because we have every single island on the route. You got DJs play, you can hear every single thing. Right? Whereas if you're in Trinidad, you're going to probably hear all day long the top 10 songs for the carnival season. And that's it. So what we got going on at the moment is that over the past couple of months, the tunes like Hard Fit sort of rose to the top. Right? That got the play. The Nyla tune, Nyla and Skinny came out, and it's fairly recent actually. Mm-hmm. And that's doing the business. Right? But then again, when they do the road mixes, which I have to say, the guy who's doing the road mixes is my cousin Stones. He's very popular in Trinidad. He used to do all the things. And he called me and said, I'm doing the road mix for Patrice and Marshall. I said, okay. And I had a taste of it, and it sounded really good because he, like a lot of club DJs, know how to DJ for people on the road, right? So it gives it a new lease of life then, second time around. It's like what we did remixes and stuff in the club days, we did. You have the tune come out, then the record company will put out a remix. So that's basically what it is. Yeah. And so on the day, at the judging point, you'll have, the tune that's played the most when they cross in the judging point. And it's not just in Port of Spain, but around the whole of Trinidad, San Fernando Carnival. So it's all tallied up, and it goes like that. But I mean, I've seen some amazing things when it comes to road march. For instance, I remember the year when David Rudder won the road march with Bahia Girl, right? But the actual tune that they were playing was a song by Crazy. But the bands decided that David Rudder's getting them out. So people, I think, what's the song you think? I think it was I Want It Back or something. One of those tunes. I Want It Back, right? By Crazy. And the bands will be coming up, they're playing it. And then all of a sudden they're going into on the stage, bing, bing, ding, ding, ding. And then off the stage is back to the more pumping tunes. The other thing, of course, is nowadays you don't have as many brass bands on the road as you have, because you'd have, back in the day, Atlantic, Surface, Firefly, Callian, Charlie's Roost. Live music was very much part of the road.
So how many brass would be in one of the brass bands?
How many instruments in? I mean, there's a whole, 4 or 5 brass players, drum, bass, percussion.
The whole thing.
The whole works. But now, I mean, I think Etienne Charles, the trumpet players, brought back the whole idea, because in the last few years, there wasn't any brass bands actually playing the road. I think the only person that was playing the road was Roy Cape All Stars.
But do you think as well that's to do with the change in the music? Because obviously back in the day, prior to the early 80s, everything was calypso as we knew it. Like your kind of traditional Sparrow and your kitsch and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so the road march would have the music would have had brass in it often, because it was a big brass band.
Yeah.
And it all changed with the soca, a lot more electronic, etc. So is that kind of what's killed off the brass in the music?
No, I just think they're just live bands, and modern day computerized and everything. I mean, look, I released and produced quite a lot of music over the years on my catalog, right? A lot of the big soca tracks. I'm beginning to actually question whether, when we rebranded Calypso as soca to modernize it, but it hasn't taken on an international level as Calypso is known as, right? If you say to someone, and I've had this happen, I mean, it might sound funny, but if you say to someone, this is soca music, and they've never heard this music, they may ask you if it's something to do with football, which I've had happen.
Really?
Right? No, you say soca, soccer, right?
Soca,
So
soccer.
if you say calypso, they know exactly what you're talking about. They say straight away, they say, Harry Belafonte and that whole thing. So it's a thing of getting the music. I mean, we came very close to a lot of hits. I'd Follow the Leader, going to charts, Hot, Hot, Hot. I released Rocket, my company. We signed at the Polydor, Dollar Wine, I signed to London Records. They came close to getting the international success, but it's a whole marketing strategy and everything, so it's very interesting. But getting down to the road march things, I mean, it's just the most popular tune that people want to dance to on the road.
So what are we going to play now?
There's a road mix I've got of Like Yourself, which is Gesture and Produce, the road mix. There's the original version and the
road mix is what
so
we
not
want.
Gesture, so Patrice and Marshall, right? It's called Like Yourself.
Yeah, you see, that is
Yes.
our director of
This is
IT
the road mix of it.
and production, Greg Weir, sorting it out. So, is this a likely winner?
Well,
dark
at the
horse?
moment, it's kind of lying third in the stakes. So we will see Bungie. Then you have Nyla and Skinny, and now you have Patrice and.
All right.
At the way it stands.
An
But you never
outside
know.
bet, ladies
the next
and
3
gentlemen.
days. The next 3 days is very crucial.
You ready to roll?
And if you feel to wine on everybody inside, yeah. Like yourself, like yourself, like yourself. So you could jump up and do your one time and go wine up and do I like it. And if you feel to wine
Today I have the voice of Marshall Montano, Patrice Roberts, headed for Road March, number 3 in the States. It looks like being a good one. It's called Like Yourself. I can see masqueraders crossing the stage on this one because it's got the pump behind it.
So what are we putting the bets on? Atiba?
Well, right.
I do like that Like Yourself tune, now that I've heard it.
But
like Smokey said, I do like the Come Home tune as well. The Hard Fet tune, it's all right.
It's a big part of the tune.
Like
But the
Yourself
thing
tune.
is, I happen to know that's, maybe I shouldn't be saying this. Anyway, Stones is currently working, if he's finished it in Trinidad, a remix of the Nyla and Skinny Come Home, right? And if it's currently like second, a lot of people want it to be Road March because, you know, she's got a nice following, she's got great potential, Nyla. And so it could be interesting to see what they come up with, what DJs like to play, because at the end of the day, most of the DJs who are playing on the road, they've been playing the fets for the past couple of months, and I know May is like, Jesus, I really have to play this again, you know? So when you get a fresh mix, it's really, really good.
Yeah, keeps it fresh. And speaking of keeping it fresh, we've got a sister, Harmony Farrell, who's live and direct from Port of Spain. Sister Harmony, are you there?
I am. I'm here.
Greetings. How are you?
I'm great. How are you all doing?
We're all
Out
good.
there
In the cold on Portobello Road.
Hi there, Harmony. You're here with me, Piers. We got Greg here. We got Atiba here from Rejuvenation Carnival 2023, and we have the legend Smokey Joe, Europe's premier soca DJ, I would say.
Club. Everybody got me down with the soca thing. I've been doing that. But anyway, I've been doing it for a long time, to say.
Harmony, tell us, where are you?
I am actually in Port of Spain right now, leaving Port of Spain, going towards the east to pick up somebody in the airport, and then come back to Port of Spain to go to Marshall's concert later.
Wow.
Yes, so
yeah.
So how you feel in the Road March States? You like it, Patrice and Marshall?
I initially I didn't like it that much. This is a real funny year for soca, and especially the Road March. I think the Road March contenders were very unexpected this year, but judging from how it's been going so far, especially with the Feds, I don't think that Patrice and Marshall is a strong contender for Road March, to be honest. People are starting to like it to the road, but to cross the stage, I'm not seeing it happening. But there's definitely a lot of energy behind Hard Fats and Come Home for sure. I think those two will be more or less neck and neck in terms of what people decide they're going to.
I think they kind of left it. They cut it a bit fine with the Like Yourself, you know, it just picked in at the last minute. But you know how Trinidad goes, you know, a couple of days before. The only person I think got away with releasing the records late and getting Road March was Super Blue back in the day. But he had it down to a fine art. He had it down to a fine art, Super Blue. He can drop a tune and catch everybody unawares because he knew it would peak at a certain time.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that thing about it. Sorry, Harmony.
Say again, sorry?
I love that whole thing about the timing and, you know, who's going to get it just over the line in the right time. But Harmony, what are you looking for? You got the gig tonight. What are you looking forward to over the weekend?
Well, definitely with Marshall, I am really looking forward to seeing what he does with this cross the waters collaboration, because his whole emphasis with his theme this year is going back to the motherland, so bringing the artists out of the African countries. And in the past, Marshall's collaborations when it comes to Afrobeats have always been amazing. So I'm really excited to see Wizkid and Ira Star and all of them.
Oh my God, are they going to be on stage tonight? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so jealous.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be really, really good. So I made sure I got my ticket early, and I'm really looking forward to that, as well as that performance with Patrice and his song with Destra, because Marshall has a way that even if you're not feeling a song too much before, the way that he performs it live will make that your favorite song immediately after that. It just sticks in your head. So I'm really looking forward to that tonight. And then after that, we go into our next fete because, you know, it's Carnival weekend.
No
So
sleep.
it's one thing after the next after the next.
But there's a lot of young artists that's coming through as well, you know, that I think, unfortunately, one of the guys that I really like is a young fella called Michael Tasia. And he's
Yes,
got
a very good friend of mine.
Oh, is he? Yeah, he's got a wicked song called Hall of Fame. I think, and we got a remix of well, I am remix of it there.
Okay, well, let's listen to Hall of Fame.
And we'll come back. If you can hang on for us, Harmony, we'll come back to you after the track.
And this is the road mix.
Yeah.
Hey, give me a rhythm. Want to get high like Superman. I don't care about race or religion. One love is the mission. So yeah, me, don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. You go see thing again. Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. This is not the end. We time coming back again. It's so much my heart could take. I feel like I'm born again. Under it, I don't want no limit. When I come, this is no visit. Every place we look to conquer it. Hey, give me a rhythm. Give me a rhythm. I want to get high like Superman. I don't care about race or religion. One love is the mission. So yeah, me, don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. It's we time again. Don't worry, lover, I know you're missing it. It's a whole mood when we start to get lit. Time coming back again. It's so much my heart could take. I feel like I'm born again. Freedom at last, raise a glass. Boy, can't live in the past. So look for where madness, David Rudder say. Look for where real girl, and it's only ways. Look for where sun, beating up and beating a drum, licking iron without a tongue. Hey, watching the city come alive. I out there till the sunrise. Tell them I don't make up my mind. Can't do it once, we must do it twice. So yeah, me. Don't worry, lover. Don't worry, friend. Don't worry, partner. You go see thing again. Don't worry, lover. I know you're missing it. It's a whole mood when we start to get lit. Time coming back again. It's so much my heart could take. I feel like I'm born again. Freedom at last. Raise a glass.
Michael Tasia, very talented young man. He's been writing for a lot of artists, and I think he's someone to look out for now. He's performing now, so it's really great. And this tune is going to set him up, I think.
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
It's a banging
Smoke,
tune.
it's so great to have you with us because you really are the expert on all this stuff, having worked in clubs. Well, you don't look old enough, but for quite a long time.
50 years I've been doing it, but I remember I was a funk and soul DJ in clubs, and then I got into production, and I work with merchants and a lot of people like that. But it's think it was Sparrow who made me start. I played soca. He came into the club in 1977. I was DJ in London, out of the blue. Just showed up. He came to record an album for Trojan Records. And it actually gave him a #1 hit in Holland with a ballad. Sparrow is a fantastic singer. People say him as a calypsonian, but he's actually an incredible singer. And he did a tune called Only a Fool Breaks His Own Heart, which went down to #1 in Holland back in the 70s, I think, late 70s for Trojan Records last day over there. And he's still going. I mean, Witch Doctor, you can hear later on.
Yeah, we may hopefully get to play that in a moment. Anyway, Harmony, you're out there in Trinidad. Thank you for hanging on through that fabulous tune.
And yeah, big up your brethren, TJ. Is it Tej?
Yeah.
Mikkel.
Mikkel,
Yes.
yeah.
Tell him you're getting a lot of love in Europe.
So, Harmony, tell us, will you be going to look at any of the Calypso or the Mass over the weekend up till Tuesday?
Well, I'm playing Juve and Mass. So in between that, I have no time to do much seeing. I have a lot of participating to do, but not so much seeing. But a lot of the traditional aspects would have happened last weekend and the weekends gone before. And because I'm so deeply in culture and carnival, I get a lot of time to see a lot of the things before Monday and Tuesday. So I went to an event at UE that I normally go to last weekend, and I got to see a lot of these traditional portrayals. But as in terms of the next few days, nah, I will be on the road.
Who are you playing Mass with? I'm curious.
The
Tribe. Okay, Kendall Sharp.
What's the theme?
What is the theme? The theme is, I can't even remember, actually. Because the themes tend to be so abstract, and they make not a huge difference in terms of how the costumes are designed and the sections turn out, really and truly. It's A New Dawn. All right, it just came back to mind. A New Dawn.
And Harmony, tell us, what's your favourite of the traditional Mass characters?
I love the Peregrinade. That's the one, they call them story spellers. So they are, just for a little bit of context for people who may not know, they are actually derived from the French tradition of the Pero. And the Peregrinade is supposed to be more or less the poor man's version. So Peregrinade, Grenadian Pero. And they try to prove how smart they are and how intelligent they can match up to their colonial counterparts. So they spell words in really interesting ways. And they're just very colorful and very vibrant, and you kind of never know what you're going to get with them. Another one that also involves social and political commentary quite a lot of the times. And yeah, Peregrine, that just happens to be my favorite one because it involves so much creativity, not just with the costuming, but also with the speeches that they say. Love that one.
Yeah, I mean, some of what he says, it's almost like rap videos.
Yeah.
It's a whole interesting thing because I remember even as a little boy young in San Fernando, I think the Wild Indian Mass, they also have a lot of chants and different things that they use in between there, which they memorize. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but I'm lost. Now go on. I was just drifting away from that because I know there's a band called Lost Tribe. I'm normally working with Big Mike of Legacy, so, but I like what Lost Tribe has been doing in the last couple of years. You know, they've kind of got away from the feathers and the beads and done some very interesting things.
Yeah, it is quite interesting to see how this generation responds quite well to that in ways that I think most people didn't expect.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Do you feel that the young people in Trinidad are taking some of the traditional aspects? Do they enjoy the traditional aspects of carnival, or is it all about getting out on the roads and having a good time?
I think they definitely do enjoy it, but a huge problem that exists for us in a lot of these spaces, unfortunately, is access. So it's really easy to market a big fete. It's really easy to market a mass band where it's an all-inclusive experience. But when it comes to the traditional, I think especially because in a lot of cases it's people who are a few generations behind who are in charge of it. They don't seem to pick up that knack for really marketing and letting people know what is happening and when it's happening. So you have a lot of young people who are very interested in the traditional mass, but they just don't know where to go. They don't know when it's happening. They don't know, how to get there. As opposed to the fetes are so easy and in your face. It's really easy to get there and be there and witness. And you see people posting stories and things about it. So I really think the interest is there, but the awareness, unfortunately, there's a bit of a disconnect that we have there.
Harmony, thank you so much for being with us on the show and letting us know how it feels there in Trinidad. One last question from me. What do you do on Wednesday morning when you wake up?
I'm supposed to say that I get up and go to work, but this year I am getting up and jumping on a boat and going to Tobago and relaxing. But Wednesday, you are soaking your aching feet and sapping your knees from all of the dance in the 2 previous days before, just trying to channel yourself back into ordinary life. And this year, I'm going to be doing that in Tobago on the beach.
Sounds like a good plan. Harmony, I just want one question for me, though. Who do you think is going to win the panorama?
I
think that's my favorite thing, Pan.
It's really, really, really difficult to say. I think Panorama is one of the most unpredictable competitions that we have. I was there on the ground for Pan semis, and I think the results were also a little bit unexpected in some places. So I cannot say, but always looking forward to bands like Phase 2. I'm from South, so I'm always looking forward to what Skiffle is doing. But I can't say. It's a matter of waiting and seeing what they're going to bring to the finals.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harmony.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful carnival.
Yeah.
And, of course, we'll
and
stay in
we're all
touch.
really jealous.
Yeah.
Take a job for us. Take a job for us.
Jump
A sip
up for
for
us.
us. Take a job and a sip for us.
Definitely will.
Thank you so much. Take care. Blessings.
Thank you for tuning in to the Carnival special. Trinidad Carnival has been, ramping up for a while. Finishes on Tuesday night. We promised you a pancake recipe for Shrove Tuesday. Unfortunately, we haven't got time, so just Google it if you want to make pancakes on Tuesday.
But again, before we go, I just want to ask both of you quickly. Borough Day.
Yep.
In the South, we have the pan competition. Is that a reason to go to Trinidad and Tobago? If you can't make Carnival, is Borough Day good enough to go?
Well, it's certainly picked up a lot in the past few years. It started off small, but it's grown. As another reason. Listen, we don't need an excuse to have a fete.
What do you think, Atiba?
Any time during the year is a good day to go to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Destination Trinidad Tobago.
Yep. Yeah, that's.
Thank you.
It's been fantastic, guys. Thanks everyone who came on the show. It's been a bit like being an advert for the Trinidad and Tobago Tourist Board, but what a place.
Yes.
Tune in if you're listening on tomorrow. This show goes out at midday. It's followed by Pan Diva doing the first soca show at 2 p.m. Then we have a fantastic lineup going on. 3, DJ for Blue, Contemporary Urban. 4, we have a new DJ Tormento, playing lowrider stuff it's coming from Juarez in Mexico. At 5 o'clock we got Darren Bennett, Reggae Got Soul. 6 o'clock Minna is back. She's just been in Mexico with her new disco house. She was DJ Honey. She's changed her name back to her real name. 7 o'clock we have got This Is House, Sam
Rebranding.
Richardson. 8 o'clock DJ PJ. This is all nice house on Portobello. 9 o'clock we've got a legendary set from Burning Man, recorded in 2001 by DJ Shan. It's never been played on the radio before. 21 years ago at Burning Man. It blew the place aside. And then at 10 o'clock we got Judge Bud with, what's the show called? Yeah, anyway, from 6 o'clock, it's hashtag Nice House on Portobello. Thank you for listening. Smokey, you were going to tell us about the tune we're going to play out with.
It's a
Oh, well,
classic.
it's a classic. It's re-recorded. Sparrow re-recorded this. I think Starlift Steel Band is playing this in Panorama. It's a big hit for him over the years called Witch Doctor. And what's amazing is, and I think a lot of Calypsonians and soca artists, or young soca artists, would listen to the way his phrasing and his singing is in it, because that's amazing. He's actually re-sung the whole vocals. So I can give my little plug to the Tabernacle on Tuesdays, right? You'll see me down there.
Of course you can.
Yes, live musicians. I like working with live musicians. Jazz, funk, soul, some soca, some reggae. So we're going to have some fun this Tuesday.
Are we on this? Thank you for listening. This has been the Portobello Radio Show. We're going to come back in a minute.
The fire blazing and the water hot. Oh Lord, it is time to put something in the pot.
This is the supreme serenading calypso king of the world, the mighty Sparrow. And right now, I'm celebrating with Dante, a Crowman Starlin Steel Orchestra.
They call me the witch doctor from a land of far, specializing Obia. My real name is Papa Boy. When the drums begin to play and I ring my bell, everybody clear the way. I cast in my spell. Roger, come Roger, Roger Munu Balanga. Ide ungawa, ide abracadabra. The fire blazing and the water hot. Oh Lord, it is time to put something in the pot.
I like a white rat, to make a well fat, a crapo tongue and a living bat. Mud from the graveyard, one black soul, drown that up with a dead man bone. If things go fine, every woman going to be mine.
The fire blazing and the water hot. Oh Lord, it is time to put something in the pot. In the very still of night, when folks are asleep and the devil's angels fight, making spirits weep, I'll be in the cemetery with horns on my head, a silver cross and two big body invoking the dead. Roger, come Roger, Roger Munu Balanga. Ide ungawa, ide abracadabra. The fire blazing and the water hot. Oh Lord, it is time to put something in the pot.
A little bit of mud, an eagle's claw, donkey blood and a rabbit's paw. One black pen, piece of golden thread, green a hair from the doctor head. If nothing go wrong, cost a living bound to come down.
The fire blazing and the water hot. Oh Lord, it is time to put something in the pot.
Now I want to tell the public, the lame and the sick, if you want some Ovia, come to Papa Boy quick. If somebody thief your chicken or you lose your man, come quick, I am quite willing to give you a hand.
Roger, come Roger, Roger Munu Balanga. Ide ungawa, ide abracadabra. The fire blazing and the water hot. Oh Lord, it is time to put something in the pot.
Two yellow candle, a rusty key, caca jab in a pint of peat, cobweb and quicksilver just for speed, soap on head and a jumping bead. Who do me wrong? Getting the biggest soap put in tongue.
The fire blazing and the water hot. Oh Lord, it is time to put something in the pot.
Yeah, man, absolutely amazing. There it was, Witch Doctor by Sparrow. Can you believe it's the same Sparrow? I can't, I'll tell you that much.
Right.
Make sure you share a copy of that with me.
Oi, oi, oi.
Now, if
Wicked.
anyone is listening from any of the copyright authorities, that's the last kind of thing we would ever do. 'Cause
Ever
we
in the
respect
entire
people's
universe.
property rights
Yeah, right.
up to a certain value.
Brilliant. That's been a fantastic carnival, Trinidad carnival set. We really enjoyed going across the Atlantic to the Caribbean over the course of the last 2 hours. Now, as a very last special, we've got somebody in the house.
Very breathy today.
I've been running around like a lunatic. Have you got any idea how many USB sticks I've had to handle in the last hour?
At least I've got an idea who the next guest is. It's
Go for
Dave
it.
from British. Hi, Dave. How you doing, mate?
Hiya, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Now, what brings you to the Portobello Road today here at the Muse Gallery?
I actually have a gig at the Hamway Club tonight.
Oh, is that in Hamway Street, Soho?
It is,
Or
yes.
Technically just north of Soho. But yeah. Great.
So, yeah, I was just on my way down, and Dinny gave me a shout and said, "Why don't you pop by the station?"
Thank
So
you, Smokey.
I swung by.
You. We look forward to your first soca show on and Cloud the Club Music on Portobello Radio. Sorry, Dave. We were just saying goodbye to someone. You're at Hamway Club. What kind of music do you play?
So I'm a hip hop artist.
Yeah.
Dabble in some of the other genres involved in hip hop as well, but primarily hip hop.
Yeah. And funnily enough, last night I watched the first 3 episodes of the hip hop BBC documentary.
Oh yeah.
Where would you stand in that? Are you West
I
Coast
haven't
hip hop?
watched it.
Are you East Coast hip hop?
Well, I actually lived in Florida for 10 years, so I was in the South. So technically, I'm
right.
Southern hip hop.
Yeah. Well, I love Southern funk. So, what? Where have you come from?
So today, I'm from Ipswich.
Yeah.
I grew up there and then moved back.
farmers.
But yeah, we've just travelled down from Ipswich today, not Florida.
And what brought you? Lad from in Ipswich. What brought you to hip hop?
I've loved hip hop since I was a.
Call it.
Well, I used to do a show called Hip Hop.
Yeah.
But no, I grew up on hip hop. I remember having Jay-Z albums as a kid, Ja Rule albums as a kid, so really commercial names, and that was. Then I'm moving to the States. It's the biggest genre in the States at the moment, so it was everywhere.
Yeah, of course it is. Well, is it that good, the hip hop show? I'm not sure, but you should definitely check it out. Though I am shocked, they have a show about the history of hip hop, and they don't mention Rapper's Delight. Anyway, what's all that about? Yeah. So, tell us what do you do? Do you brag about how much butter you have on your breakfast toast?
No, that's
do you
not
talk
what I do.
about social issues?
At times, yeah. I like to do storytelling stuff where it tells story about things based on things that I've witnessed or have seen. But also a lot about just the travels I've been on, what I've done and what I've seen. So a little bit more than bragging about money and cars.
And what about your rhythms? Is it all 808s banging away, or do you sample some lovely soft soul?
No, I'm more of a kind of soul, jazz, hip hop area myself. I've got a crew which is 3 of us. They couldn't make it tonight, but we dabble in more of the 808 stuff on that. So that's Purple Loft if you want to check them out.
All right. So you are British. You spelt it weird. You better tell people.
Yeah, I've got a $sign for an S to represent living.
Make of that what you
else.
will. So we're going to play out with one of your tunes. Will you tell us about it and then introduce it?
Yeah, so first tune is Chalk Alley. It's the title track of my debut EP. It came out on 12-inch last year. Year before now. And came on at 12, went on an independent tour off of it. And then, that's the song.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to rap it for you because we've only got the instrumentals.
All right, great. We got live music. We love that. Push it away from him.
Yo. In Chalk Alley, we tally and talk. It's all pally till we rally a war. We've got a cause to carry. Harry in a horde, chasing rubble to Barney. A coffee to cuddle, as we muscle Asani. Bobby's huddle to muddle the army, so we do it so calmly. Black cobbles to a green field, let the team heal. The dream's real, so we break it down and rebuild. Refills, then I'm off on the trot. Watch out, you won't stop till we drop. Cop the lot till we're top of the top. I'm a grifter, I'm a grinder, drifter, driver, I'ma hit you when I ride by. What you saying when it's high tide? Elevated cause it's high times. Who am I, who are you? Time flies, barely coping with the blind side. I'm awoken to a sly mind, my. By the docks, no crocs, let my toes swoosh. I blow kush and they're smelling like a rose bush. Got 'em thinking that their nose is good. I thank God for the road I took. I guess he knows what's good. It got a little bit sketched for a while. Now I'm stretching a smile. Budapest to the Nile, it's wild. You don't even know. Check it. Thank you. So this next one is called Raceway. This is my latest single. It's just short of 100,000 streams at the moment. Hopefully I'll hit that before the end of the month, so pretty happy about that. Produced by a guy called Liu from up in Norfolk. Yo. So what happened to the jazz? Living in the past, swinging with it mad, grinning with a laugh. Smoked out saloon, don't doubt the mood. Everybody's on it south of the moon. Tailored tunes and raw papers, flavored blooms, exhaust vapors. It's all fragrant, dresses flicking. It's like a game of chess and chicken. I just kick it with the missus getting lifted. It's all gravy. Yeah, they all hate me. Now we all playing G. It's all love and it's all lust. Losing time frames on a Friday. Mellow yellow on a highway. Hello, hi, hey. Welcome to how we do it my way. Sit down and fly away. I'll see you overhead or a mile away. To see me on the ground is like a smile from yay. It's been a while, but hey, I'll see you. Black papers in the flower. Space wasting it for hours. Tastes amazing, but it's sour. Living in the space age raceway, ayy. Black papers in the flower. Space wasting it for hours. Tastes amazing, but it's sour. Living in the space age raceway, ayy. Astronaut, spaceman, drifting in the wasteland. Bass gang, turn it till it shakes, man. Burn up on the racetrack, burn it till the day cracks. I'm tiptoeing pretty quick when I get going, chase that. Head down, lens on with a snap. Stroll a blend with a rap, bend the bends and a dab. An escape from the madness, a defense from the masses. That's why I stay hidden behind glasses. Just keep it down. Even with the reef around, I'm subdued by the beats and sounds I won't notice. It's a no itch. Taking pictures on their phones of a drone floating, but why though? Spend some money and go buy one. I'd rather smoke it and just fly on. I'm hitchhiking on a ride along. I won't mention when we're flying off, cause you know that we'll time it wrong. I'm heading up like I'm climbing rock, but it's heaven. I'll recline and dust while we rhyme and rock. 7-Eleven while we tie the crop, then we rising off. You know the timing was off. I'm putting flour in a black paper. No backing hours, we just rap flavors. This one, it lacks that. This one is like craters. So I'll have a couple puffs and I'll check you later. Black papers in the flour. Space wasting it for hours. Tastes amazing, but it's sour. Living in the space age raceway, ayy. Black papers in the flour. Space wasting it for hours. Tastes amazing, but it's sour. Living in the space age raceway, ayy. Yo, living in the space age raceway, ayy. Yo, living in the space age raceway, hey. And that was Raceway.
The most incredible British in the house.
Thank you.
Love this, man. Wicked, absolutely wicked. Catch him and many others on your favourite radio platform, Portobello Radio, all weekend long. Love you guys. Take care. Have a
all
great
weekend long. Thank you, British.
Great weekend, man. Whoop, 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 whoop. Indeed. Well done.
Portobello Radio. Portobello Radio. Portobello Radio. Portobello Radio.